Ready or not, here comes Lopes on Movies. The next episode is happening right now. Welcome, everybody. I am joined today by, live in New York City, Connor.
Hi, how are you? That was quite the introduction.
Yeah, I'm proud of this one. I think this is, we're also joined by Kyle.
Hey, how's it going? Best intro yet.
Yeah, obviously, the reason why my introduction was the way it was is because today we are going to be talking about a new movie that just came out called Ready or Not. So, I thought it would be funny to do like a Ready or Not thing for the intro.
Yeah,
so.
it was real. It was hilarious.
Was it funny?
It landed.
Was it funny? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I can check that one off as a success. But before we get to Ready or Not, we have a couple other things we're going to talk about. First thing, and I guess we can do this kind of quickly. Guys, the Spider-Man news. Can you believe it?
I'm still reeling.
Oh my God! I heard the Spider-Man news and I was I was literally shaking. I couldn't take it anymore. I was
Okay, but Joey, now what do you actually think?
Oh, I couldn't care less. The only good Spider-Man movies are Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
And Amazing Spider-Man.
And the only Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3 is better than any of the other ones that came out.
Spider-Man 3 has many redeeming aspects to it.
So I don't really see much use in worrying about whether or not Spider-Man is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What does it matter? These aren't movies anyway.
No, but a lot of people were shaken to their core about that news.
Okay, let me step back and avoid the elitism for too long here. I obviously, if you've ever watched the show, we do not have that much interest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So obviously, for us, hearing the Spider-Man news was kind of a whatever moment. But I recognize that many people are very invested in these Marvel movies and are upset that Spider-Man is no longer a part of the MCU. But just make no mistake, this is Disney's fault. Sony,
yes, it is.
Sony and Disney had negotiated originally for Spider-Man being part of the MCU, and then Disney came here and said, hey, we want to up our profit share by 45%. And Sony logically said that you're insane, no. And there you go. This is where we're at. So if anybody that's upset with Sony, just do some research, because your gods, the Disney Corporation, are not what they seem.
They lied to you.
Joey, here's the thing. Is there any chance now that Sony will actually do Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire?
No, but if that happened with like Sam Raimi directing it, I wouldn't know whether
an old man Tobey Maguire coming back.
Like,
I think that would be
cool.
Actually kind of fun.
Yeah, but like it would also be too insane to ever happen, But
it would be.
I don't know. I feel
crazier
like
things have happened.
There's too much like. Does the average person like the original Spider-Man movies?
No, they hate them.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that are too cool for those movies. You know what I mean? Like, they think like, oh, they're dated, oh, they're corny. It's like, oh, I'm a boring person who can't have fun at the movies unless it's Marvel-approved fun by the Disney Corporation.
Wow. This is actually perfect for the next two things we're going to talk about in this episode. One being Ready or Not, speaking of like a fun thing with a filmmaker with actual vision, and this other thing that we're going to talk about, which is also related to a superhero, sort of.
Yeah, it is. So let's just jump right into that. Second thing on the docket for today. This is kind of old, what we're going to be discussing here, but it's been giving me joy for like a couple of months now. So I wanted to bring you joy as well. So obviously all of us are aware of America's sweetheart Jeremy Renner,
who is the green comet or what or
God, Connor, the green comet. What?
Wait,
what is his name?
Hawkeye?
Green Arrow. Oh, Hawkeye. Oh. All right, we'll cut that, right?
No.
That I don't remember what Jeremy Renner's character's name is in the Marvel movies.
So hard. So
well, anyway,
I mean, I understand like where the mistake comes from, because Hawkeye and the Green Hornet are both Arrow-based.
The Green Hornet?
No, not the Green Hornet.
Arrow.
Green Arrow.
I think I might have said the Green Comet.
Superheroes are so awful. Jesus.
Green Hornet was played by Seth Rogen.
Okay. Let's get this back.
We're here to talk about Jeremy Renner, not Seth Rogen. All right. We could have talked about Seth Rogen last week for Good Boys, but that's neither here nor there.
It's true. We ignored him.
So he was also in The Town, if you remember The Town, directed by Ben Affleck. I never actually seen The Town, but I know Jeremy Renner is in it and is a major presence in that film. But anyway, so America's Sweetheart, Jeremy Renner. Not only is he one of the finest actors of our generation, but he is attempting to be one of the finest musicians of our generation. In fact, he even claims that music was his first love. So this was a shock to me. I had no idea that Jeremy Renner was a man of many talents. But the way he revealed this some of his new music to the world was in a cryptic tweet that just said "coming soon" with a video attached. So I am now going to play the contents of this video, so everybody have a listen.
Can I say that I've never heard this before?
You're in for a treat.
Yeah, okay. Your life's about to change.
All right, let's listen.
So unpredictable, I gotta tell you, never be the same. 'Cause heaven don't have a name.
Oh no.
So I don't know about you guys, but I think that's the best teaser video I have ever seen for anything. I've watched that video probably like 50 times, and it never gets old. So all right. I guess this is like a teaser for like his new single, or maybe he has an album coming out. I mean, the song here is called "Heaven Don't Have a Name." But he has like a lot of other tracks up. Like if you just like search Jeremy Renner music, like he has like albums worth of music up. Like there was one that I thought was interesting. That was a cover of the Animals' "House of the Rising Sun." So this guy is serious. He's making a go at this, guys. And all power to him. So I think there's something very endearing about like really bad rock music. You know what I mean? Like you listen to like this like hyper masculine like butt rock, I think is the best way to call it, like the Nickelback type influence and stuff. But I mean no disrespect.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Different strokes for different folks. But yeah, this teaser video is very awkward. And it's just one of those things, Who knew Jeremy Renner was into this sort of thing?
I have no idea what he's saying at the beginning.
Well, that's what I want to get into. So the real reason why I am bringing this up in this episode is because I want to investigate something. We have 3 heads here in the room listening to this, and the viewers at home as well, if we're not able to get an answer.
Or listeners, right?
Listeners, whatever you want to call them. What I want to investigate is the opening of that teaser video. So let's play the start of that again really quickly.
So unpredictable, I gotta tell you.
Okay. I hear "I want to tell you," but I have
I hear that part.
I have no idea what the first part of that phrase is. What I hear is like a Papa dig a bool.
So unpredictable.
Oh God!
It sounded like Papa Dig-a-Boo.
Yeah, a Papa Dig-a-Bool. That's what I'm hearing. A Papa Dig-a-Bool. I want to tell you. Like, let me play. Let me play that again.
So unpredictable, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, but I think the first word is "so."
Like it almost sounds like he's just like going through like a vocal exercise or something.
Yeah, right.
But it's the worst sounding vocal exercise one can do.
Can we even make out any words in here?
I mean, until what is it? I want to tell you.
Or I gotta tell you, whatever it is.
I gotta tell you.
I think he definitely starts with so.
Yeah, I hear so.
Yeah.
But after that, like it's.
I think it's gibberish.
No, he's got to be saying something, right?
So unpredictable, I gotta tell
Do they have the
you.
lyrics up? Can I search Jeremy Renner Heaven Don't Have a Name lyrics?
The whole idea that his song is called Heaven Don't Have a Name. It's called Heaven.
So
the name is in the name. The name's in the name of the song.
I found it.
Okay, let's hear it.
What was it? How
But
close
wait,
were we?
I feel like this must be a transcription because this doesn't really seem like anything either. So it's in the middle of the song, and what this says is, "So Papa leap your cool."
Papa leap your coal?
Cool.
Cool.
Like the word cool, like that's cool, you know. So Papa leap your cool. But what does that mean?
I don't even think he says that though.
So we got Papa.
I can see
kind of hear Papa.
I can see Papa. Yeah. We got that right.
But what he says after that, it sounds like it starts with a B. Like,
so unpredictable, I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
what's the boo
yeah, that's
part?
definitely, he says bool, not cool.
Yeah.
I gotta.
I think this must be a transcription where somebody just took a guess.
Yeah, it sounds like Papa Dika Sambuka Boo.
All right.
I want to tell you.
Let's not belabor this point.
We already have.
We already have
it's
enough.
far too late.
But I just want to say this is a truly special teaser video.
Something else.
So
yeah, I guess the moral of the story is just go after your dreams.
Follow
no
your
matter
heart,
what they
man.
are.
Like just do what
Follow
you want
your
to do.
heart.
That's if Jeremy Renner can have a music career, you can have a music career if that's what you want.
Yeah, and if you have like a huge following already, you can utilize
if
your already gigantic fan base,
rich, and have all the resources to do whatever you want, and it's all power to you. I think it's about time we actually talk about something productive for this episode.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the movie that we all saw, Ready or Not. Connor, how about you give us a synopsis of Ready or Not?
All right, so this is just from IMDb. A bride's wedding night takes a sinister turn when her eccentric new in-laws force her to take part in a terrifying game. It was directed by Matt Bittitelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, collectively known as Radio Silence, and stars Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, and even Andie MacDowell was in there, which is interesting.
Yeah, I haven't
Andie
seen her in a
MacDowell,
movie in a long time, I feel like. I mean, maybe I'm just ignorant.
I remember she was in a lot of commercials for like a skin moisturizer or something.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
Andie MacDowell? Yeah, I think she was. And then obviously she had the legendary performance in Groundhog Day.
That's probably what she's most well known for. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, but Joey, what did you think of Ready or Not?
So before I get into Ready or Not, I just want to I have to confess that I was absolutely horrified to discover that after leaving the theater, discovering that this film was distributed by the bad guys of the movie world, the Walt Disney Corporation.
The Spider-Man killers.
Are you going to add in a dun dun dun?
I think you just did it yourself, so I don't think I need to add in any sound effect. But I realized that this was a Fox project that was carried over after Disney acquired Fox, so that's why Wikipedia will tell you that the Walt Disney Corporation are the ones that put this out. So it's kind of scary to me that now it's like, even the movies that you don't realize are Disney products are Disney products, even the non-franchise.
How crazy is that too? Like, we start this off talking about like Spider-Man and how Disney is fighting with a different studio with something, and then like this whole thing, them acquiring this.
I mean, Disney is probably like
Disney owns it all.
They're probably looking to acquire Sony too down the line. Who knows? Like
they're gonna acquire Lopes on movies soon, so they can shut us up.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I mean, so the point is, again, like if you like any movies that are released by Disney, that's totally cool. That is your prerogative. But I think Disney company is a very, very dangerous and bad thing for the current movie industry because of the monopoly they pretty much have over everything. I mean, and this is just part of that. Like now you can't go to any random like slasher horror comedy movie and expect it to just be, something. But no, it's it's put out by Disney like everything else. But really, like, you can let this one slide because it still fundamentally was a Fox project. It just happened to be, coming out right after Fox was acquired by Disney. It's just so crazy to me that Fox was acquired by Disney. Can you guys believe that?
Yeah.
That one of the biggest studios just got subsumed into the Disney machine.
Just got absorbed.
It's so scary to think that could continue to happen.
It will.
It will.
But again, if you like Disney movies, totally cool. But remember that monopolies are not a good thing. And what we're currently looking for or looking at in theaters is very dangerous and very bad for creativity and art in the movie industry. So keep your heads and wits about you. You don't wander into a Disney movie by mistake like we did.
That's exactly what happened.
Anyway, Ready or Not.
Ready or Not. So this is Ready or Not's a lot of fun. This is a very good movie, and I actually highly recommend that people go check it out. It's kind of a vapid thing to say that it's just fun, but it's probably the easiest thing to describe. It's fun in the way that violent horror comedy slasher movies are fun. It is in that vein. But I think the key to why it's so good is sort of the way it perfectly balances its tone, which is something that is really difficult, I think, for these kinds of movies, these kinds of like horror concept, people in super horrifically dangerous and violent situations. They have to work their way out, those kinds of things. But before I get into more specifics about that, how about we hear from you guys as well, what you thought. Kyle, what did you think of Ready or Not?
I really enjoyed it. We were talking in the car beforehand that, I thought this was just going to be another run-of-the-mill dark comedy or whatever. But it actually ended up being a very, I guess I wasn't really expecting bad things, but it ended up being a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be.
I think we were both going into this expecting something a little bit more generic. And it's not that this isn't this has aspects of it that are kind of predictable and generic, but I feel like the execution of it is so well done that you kind of forgive any of that. And I was expecting something that was a little bit more uneven, something a little bit more kind of wonky or rough around the edges. But it's really a very, very solid piece of work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for me, this is exactly what I was hoping it would be, and it exceeded my expectations for sure. And also, the lead actress Samara Weaving, I thought I only saw like the poster for this. I don't even remember seeing a trailer for this movie, but at the poster, she looks very similar, at least from where I was looking, to Emma Stone to me. So I actually thought for the longest time before even going into this, like right up until I went into this, that Emma Stone was starring in this for some reason.
That's hilarious.
Don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why she would do something like this, but that was in my head.
I mean, Emma Stone at this point is like way too big time for,
Oh, I know. I don't know why
it was in my head,
movies. But Samara Weaving was excellent.
Oh yeah, she was great.
Also.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. In fact, I would say the cast in general was awesome because everybody is just putting their all into this, it's fun but silly but actually somewhat gruesome horror movie. Also, it's excellent. Joey, why don't you continue? Sam, I think you had a thought,
right,
that you were going into.
So the thing that I kind of want to talk about is balancing like the tone in these kinds of movies. So the basic like conceit of this whole movie is that it's a deadly hide and seek game, right? So a woman who is recently married into a rich family, as part of that family's traditions, when a new member of the family joins, they have to play a game with them on the night of their wedding. And the game is chosen at random by this kind of mysterious box. There's a lot of like, the premise is really simple and the plot like explains itself very quickly, but we won't go into too much detail. It's really not that important. What really matters is that the game that gets chosen is hide and seek, but it turns out that this version of hide and seek is a deadly version where the family has to sacrifice the new member of the family. So our protagonist, Grace, the new wife of one of the members of the family,
Samara Weaving.
She has to hide and then the family picks up a bunch of weapons and basically hunts her through the house, and she has to survive this horrible excursion. Everyone but her husband is against her, basically, because her husband is kind of like the character who's, oh man, I love her, I don't want you guys to kill her, I hate this tradition, that kind of thing. But yeah, so the premise is incredibly silly. The idea of a deadly hide and seek game is the kind of thing, like, it almost sounds like a Blumhouse level idea. It actually,
that's what I thought it was going to be.
This is a Blumhouse level title too, like Ready or Not. Like, I kept thinking this movie was called Hide and Seek, which is,
wasn't there a Truth or Dare?
Right, yeah, there was a Truth or Dare that was.
I had
a
thought, like, with my roommate, who, when we saw this together, that originally they were gonna just call it Hide and Seek, but there's not a ton of hiding and seeking the whole time.
That's a good point.
I wonder if they might have changed the title because of some audience people
maybe
questioning that.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, they went with
keep going.
Something equally bland, which is kind of funny, I think. I mean, like, but don't let that title fool you. I mean, this is still a very well constructed movie, despite having a extremely bland title. But anyway. So with something like this, you're kind of expecting a movie that's not going to take itself too seriously, because obviously it's, a movie called Ready or Not about a deadly hide and seek game. It'll have like pulpy violence and like thriller scenarios, but it's still fundamentally supposed to be just like a fun, good time at the movies, which is awesome. But how do you actually pull that off in a way that works? I think the challenge with this is balancing the like seriousness and jokiness of the situation, so it never veers too far in one direction. Because if you're too serious and the movie isn't really fun anymore, it just kind of becomes like a slog and just like violent and grotesque. But if you're too jokey, then there's no like emotional connection to what's happening, and it seems like the characters, the danger is like undercut by the humor, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So there's no like, it just kind of becomes ironic and boring, and you're, maybe like super meta or something, and it just loses any of that kind of, you end up watching it at a distance instead of actually identifying with the characters and enjoying the situation. So the poster boy for me of a movie that is like this, that gets it completely wrong. Do you guys remember the Belko Experiment?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
How could we ever forget the Belko Experiment? James Gunn produced that a few years ago. I think it was directed by a guy named Greg McLean. That sounds familiar.
I think that's right. Wow, good memory. Yeah.
Anyway, the Belko Experiment was a movie that somehow managed to be wrong in both directions at different times. Like, sometimes it was way too serious, and sometimes it was way too jokey. So it ended up just being like this weird tonal whiplash, and it was really, really a hard movie to get through. At least that's how I found it. The serious moments were like absolutely horrible, like just like unbearably grotesque and evil, whereas the jokey moments were like, this is a horrible joke, why is this happening, why are they being funny after this, like, you know what I mean, like it's like you have these both of these situations where it just completely doesn't work. So when you do something like that, it's just, even if you just pick one, you're still in a situation where, like, what are you getting out of it if it's super grotesque and violent, right? It's like, to me, it's like the Midsummer situation where you just have a movie that's just a bad time. And if you're too jokey, then it's like, all right, this movie is just too self-satisfied and ironic and distant, and I'm just not gonna buy into it. But Ready or Not balances everything just like perfectly. Like, it rides the line in the perfect way where it's like the characters in the movie take the situation like deadly seriously, because of course even though the premise is ridiculous, it's still like, if you were in that situation, you have to react to it in a way that makes some kind of sense, right? You don't want to, or else it just won't read as honest. But like the characters take it all very seriously, despite it being ridiculous. But the movie still has like a good sense for how to have fun with the premise. So it's never, it's never too gruesome or violent. It's never too jokey to lose any of that sense of danger. So
I like to think, and like the director that we talked about earlier, like Sam Raimi, it kind of captures that kind of like perfect in between of like horror and comedy, where you're enjoying them both,
right? Yeah, for sure,
at the same time. And then like this one, I would say doesn't have like the kind of filmmaking style that a Sam Raimi director would have.
Yeah, I'd say the filmmaking is very functional.
Right, what you're describing in terms of tone, excellent. They nailed it, and it's a slippery slope because obviously there's plenty of Belko experiments to your Ready or Nots.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to get right, and I really feel like Ready or Not really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So is there any little things you guys want to talk about? Connor, I know you had a couple of things you wanted to say.
Yeah, I got it. So it's interesting. So for like a silly movie like this, horror comedy thing, I found it really fascinating the way you were able to like stop and think about it while you're watching this about like wealth inequality and what it means to be like like a dynasty family, because that's what this is sort of. So I guess Grace is entering into this family that is is very wealthy, and they gain their wealth by developing like board games, and you find out a little bit more of a backstory of how they might have been able to develop this wealth at some point, but then how the entire family just creates this kind of like groupthink mentality that what they're doing is totally what they have to do, and it's just they can't do anything else but be like these kind of sadistic people to keep their lifestyle going the way it is. It also like it's a whole other factor of that people that are like super wealthy, maybe even what some people would call like the 1% or whatnot, or just live on a totally different like planet than other people. And Grace and they make a point how Grace comes from like not nearly as well off means. I think she was an orphan.
Yeah,
actually,
she mentions
and she was like adopted. Right. So it was the whole idea of her coming into this situation of like this dynasty family who are all like pretty bad people.
Oh yeah.
For like
almost all of them.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of made me laugh too that when she did pull the card in from this box that decides which game they'll play, and it's hide and seek. Like every single one of them in the family just immediately, matter of fact, knew. All right, well we got to kill her. All right.
Yeah. Some of them were like, oh man, what a shame.
Yeah, we're right, but it was like more. It was more like one of those. That sucks. Oh well. All right.
Exactly.
Well, let's. Here's your crossbow. Here's your gun, and we got to use our old great granddad's weapons too. And we can't, because it's tradition.
Yep.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing just cracked me up, and I don't know. What if you guys thought anything about that?
Well,
like
I think the
meta stuff from
the satirical elements were definitely intentional. If you read any interviews with the filmmakers, you could see that they were definitely like they had a good sense for how to tell a story that has some elements like that can make you think about it, but not in a way that is super didactic and detracts from the ultimately what this is a good time at the movies.
You almost forget about it. Like it's in the background.
Yeah.
You kind of just think about it like after the fact. Like, wait, there's like something else being said here.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
Funny.
But we are actually coming up on time here, believe it or not. So if anybody has any final words, now's the time to say them.
I think the score was really good, and the actor who played the father, Henry Czerny, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Stole the show when in all his scenes where he just freaks out.
Sure. Yeah.
Like his little meltdown scenes. This is a really fun movie. It's not like too overly gory if you're not into that kind of thing. It's just, but there's some definitely gruesome parts. But
there's a great scene where Grace punches a little child in the face.
Yes.
But it's okay because he deserved it.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
Go see Ready or Not, and we will see you next week for Lopes on Movies, where we will be seeing the next movie that we see and reviewing it.
Yeah. Tune in.
I can't wait to see what it is.